A very good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Institute of Management, Nirma University, I, Isha Pandey, welcome you to today's webinar on why project management. Our esteemed speaker for this session is Mr. Vedamurthy Mallikarjunaswamy, Project Manager Leader at Ingersoll Rand. Sir has 21 years experience with project and program management, product engineering, manufacturing engineering, team leader, engineering excellence, and with handling customer-facing projects. Prior to working with Ingersoll Rand, Sir has worked in prestigious organizations like BPL as tooling engineer and Tata Consultancy Services as assistant consultant. We are honored to have you, sir. I request Mr. Vedamurthy Mallikarjunaswamy to share his valuable thoughts with us.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Isha. So good evening all. Hopefully, welcome to this session, and hopefully you had a very good day so far. I'll try to, share my experiences and knowledge on project management, project managers, and also from the organization perspective. So I think couple of things which probably I just also want to include is like from last 10 years I've been practicing the project management and the program management in various projects that I'm handling and programs that I'm handling. I hold a global MBA degree from Alliance Manchester Business School as well as Kelly Business School, right? And then Bachelor's of Engineering from NIE Mysore. Okay, so it's been now close to 23 plus years. I know I have not updated my LinkedIn. Probably Isha got it wrong at 21, but it's okay. So it's 23 plus now, and then so far so good, and then going well. So I would request you to be more interactive. Probably at the end of the session, maybe I'll try to cover and give my insights and thoughts around project management. I'll take 40-45 minutes max. After that, I would like to answer all your queries or questions what you may have, and we'll take it that way. And even in case if you want to stop me in between, if you have some questions you want to clarify, I'm fine with that as well. Okay, either way, I'll let your moderator manage those things, and then we'll with that we'll get started here. So I think most of us from education or the academic background, we keep hearing the word project management seldom. Projects is, I understand, I think you do your in engineering or in your various degrees or the MBA, we do a lot of projects. But I think the project in the context of industries are slightly different. So let me explain a little bit around that. Projects actually are like temporary endeavors. It will have its own fixed start time and an end time. With each time a project will deliver a unique product or service. So when I say unique product or service, that when you actually complete a project and then you start mass producing the product of the project, that is called as operations. The difference between a project is like a one-time activity. Just to give an example, you may be doing your MBA or you may be doing your engineering in a particular so basically when you do an MBA or a mechanical discipline engineering, you don't repeat that same thing, right? Probably you might want to do something else or you want to get into a job. So usually a project is like that. Getting an engineering degree or MBA degree is also a project, right? It has a definite start date, end date, and you will have a unique product each time. Now, what I want to also convey is projects are integral part of any business, right? And are the vehicles for organization to grow. See, each of these projects need to be managed systematically using strong project management principles, which I'm going to try and explain in a way that you can understand much better. Okay, so in any given organization, projects are must. Project using the project management principles and processes for them. See, in this session, we'll understand why project management is important, the role a project manager plays for integrating the people, the processes, and the business elements for the successful outcomes. So we'll also discuss on what options as a student you guys have, to get into the project management roles in bigger organizations, right? So before that, I would just take a minute to talk about my company, Ingersoll Rand. I hope slide is changing, Isha. Can you confirm? Okay, sure. So Ingersoll Rand, the organization is a global market leader with a broad range of innovative and mission critical air, fluid, energy, specialty vehicle, and medical technologies, providing services and solutions to increase the industrial productivity and efficiency. Ingersoll Rand's industrial segment, and Gardner Denver, we merged in early 2020 to create a global leader in mission critical flow, right? And then industrial technologies. For Ingersoll Rand, industrial, we have around 8 manufacturing, just the industrial portion of the division has around 8 manufacturing locations across the globe for making the air compressors. So, air compressors are the products where, you generate high pressure, high flow air, right, from the ambient pressure, whatever we have. So in India, we have a state-of-art facility at Naroda in Ahmedabad. I'm not sure how many of you have seen, somebody might have seen, right, wherein we make all types of air compressors. So we have a facility in Ujiang in China. We have 3 facilities in Europe, and also 3 facilities in US and Canada. Okay, so without talking much about Ingersoll Rand, let's get to the core, why we are here. See, why do organizations execute project? I just gave a glimpse during the initial portion, right, in the introduction. So projects are vehicles to help organization learn, change, adapt, or improve, and in new processes, products, or technology, right? So if they have to stay competitive in the field, right, organizations must be able to devise strategies, right, for long-term business success and growth. So there are a few things like strategic opportunity or due to a business need, right? See, now just to give an example, see, now patients were struggling to get to the pharmacy to get medicines, right? System, there we a lot of entrepreneurs found an opportunity, right? Systems like system was developed where medical pharma or the medical stores came to you, right? For a lot of shops, like a lot of pharmacies opened online services like the MedPlus, Apollo, PharmEasy, right? And over and above, when more and more pharmacies started offering online services, now just to stay competitive, like they have started offering discounts just to create the differentiation from one pharma to another, right? So that is the business need or opportunity people found. So that way they increased more sales, whereas some of the standalone medical stores are purely dependent on people, because of long-term relationship of some people, or people who are in the vicinity, they will visit there. So there are other things like market demand. They see, when I take of market demand, when I talk about that, it is the aggregate of the demand of all the potential customers or segments. Just to give another example, see, COVID created a lot of opportunities, right? It created a situation for the need of more and more oxygen generators, as you guys might be aware of, read in the newspapers, and also personally felt, right? When there is a demand for oxygen, a lot of companies opened up. Like we have more organized players. We also have a lot of unorganized players, where they started offering developing the oxygen plants by themselves, and started offering that on-site generation plants to various hospitals, government hospitals, private hospitals, right? So that is the market demand which was there, and then it was fulfilled. That is another way why organizations execute project. There are other reasons, like there can be social reasons. When I say social, again, like UNICEF, right? It initiated projects to improve the education standards of children all around the world. That is definitely another project. There can be environmental consideration, right? A lot of you might be aware of greenhouse gas emission reduction, right? So consumers become more responsive and selective in recent years for green products. So as a result, companies had to give importance in environmental issues in their products and started to produce more environmental friendly products, correct? So there will be I mean, even during 2008 and 2009 recession, US government, they formed certain regulations like, okay, the cars need to be so and so fuel efficient, then only you can sell the product, right? So fuel efficiency means basically they wanted to not only improve the environment, but also, help people cater the, I mean, basically at that situation when due to the, I mean, various factors which was economically impacting. So it used to take care of dual, like one is on the environment, other on the financial portion as well. Now, competition, right? To stay competitive. Another reason. Competition means, see, I mean, long back, almost a couple of decades back when Gmail introduced emails, right? I mean, that was the time when I just started using the emails, right? So Gmail introduced a 2 GB capacity, and it was a big deal at that time. Right now, you have infinite capacity. You guys won't even realize. So that 2 GB kept on increasing because none of the other players like Yahoo, or there was something called as Rediff, right? And then Gcafe, many other email providers were there, but none of them were up to mark. They were all like 250 MB. So that is, the advantage they are trying to create. There are many various other examples why organization execute project. Then legal. I mean, I can give you a funny example. Whenever government passes helmet is compulsory, you can see n number of helmet manufacturers across, and then a lot of showrooms open up. See, they are trying to seize the opportunity just to take the advantage of the legal requirement that everybody need to wear, driving the two-wheeler need to wear helmet, right? So that creates that opportunity for organizations to additional business opportunity, and business opportunity is by executing the projects. Okay, it is also important to ask the questions, okay, now that organizations are effectively turning over all the projects, are they turning over all the projects looking at the business opportunity? It is a bit alarming. I'll just explain why. Okay, to know that, see, organizations around the world, these are the data, real-time data around the world, waste around 1 million for every 20 seconds of the investment, according to PMI's 2018 Pulse of Profession. So it is mainly attributed to lack of clear goals. It is just a reaction to the market need. And, it can be more without any preparations, right? Internally or with regards to vendor base, right? If you actually without lack of clear goals doesn't lead us anywhere. It will only, be creating a recipe for failure, right? Ineffective implementations. Like for example, the survey reveals that nearly 10% of every dollar spent by businesses lost through ineffective implementation of business strategy. What do we mean by ineffective implementation? See, many strategic implementations fail because of various reasons, including lack of alignment of strategy to the market. Just I'll give a couple of examples. See, when eBay actually, one of the, I mean, that is the prime example. They acquired or they merged with Skype, right? So it was like a misguided merger. I mean, when they invested around 3.1 billion US dollars, right, on Skype to boost the e-commerce, but I think within very soon, like within few months or a year, Skype value dropped to almost like 1.4 billion. Highly dynamic environment. So if implementation was not effective because of various reasons. Right? See, another example I can give is Kodak, right? I mean, I don't know how many of you even know Kodak, because during my time at least, it was synonymous. I mean, Kodak was used synonymously with photography, right? So they invented digital camera in the year 1975, right? With so much market disruption. I mean, so many things came after that, and they had the opportunity also to act, but didn't, right? I mean, they went with the arrogancy or whatever you want to say, that we will still continue, but almost they lost 75% of the business value, and then they had to file bankruptcy sometime during early 2011 or 2012. right? So these are examples of ineffective implementation. Some study also shows that on an average, organizations waste around 10% of every dollar invested due to poor project performance. What do we mean by poor project performance? I mean, lack of proper resource planning. Okay, we needed this many skill sets of these kind of resources for us to manufacture the oxygen plant, right? That is one example. Unclear goals and objectives, lack of project visibility, right? Communication gaps between the teams who are performing the project and then the leadership expectations, or communication gap within the team. All this would cause those issues. And see, 43% of the projects are not even completed within the budget, and nearly 50% are not completed on time. So which means that there can be, the reasons can be in between scope addition, scope creep, right? Scope addition or deletion. All of a sudden, some leadership within the leadership, somebody comes back and says, okay, whatever product you are developing, the new car that you are launching, I don't like the way it is. Why don't you convert this into an economical low cost car, or make this car a premium look and premium type? So almost team I would have spent 2 years, right, working on that new car model, and now the requirement has changed. So what happens is the reusables are less, and eventually you'll end up spending a lot more money, right? So these can and then a lot of times we don't anticipate the risks. Lack of strong risk management, which I'll touch upon later, will also create issues for the projects to be executed within the budget. Okay. Now see, there are other reasons why projects can fail. Right? See, as per research from FOB, see, top 3 reasons for big technology projects failure. It can be weak definition of project objectives. You can see the poor performance in terms of overall executions, poor scope and requirements management. Requirements management means actually defining upfront all the needs of the market. Basically, the market, you are creating any new product. You start from the market, understanding the requirements, and then eventually you end up in the market delivering a successful product. Correct? So that market to market, have you taken care of everything appropriately? So those are the things. They can be the reason why organizations or why big technology projects fail. Correct? Then poor scope requirements. Okay. So I mean, amidst all of this, right, what are all the organizational leaders' expectations? Like people who are sponsors, who have invested money on the resources, who have invested money on people, on projects, right? Those are the key stakeholders, right? So what are their expectations? Let us understand that. See, executives are expecting better project outcomes, right? See, now if you see, they are looking for, from the project team, they are looking for a cost-effective and a predictable project operations, right? Achieve the desired outcome at specific end date. Like earlier I was mentioning, project as a definite beginning and an end, correct? So in that process, the leaders have some commitment to the market or to the customers. Okay, we will have this product launched by this date, and accordingly, customers will be eager to see those products in the marketplace. It's the same thing, right? When you order or when you book a new car, right, you are told that the waiting time is 3 months, and then on a particular day you want to go to showroom on that particular day or week which they have committed and ensure the car is there. Otherwise, you'll be so upset, correct? So it is similar. Leadership team will always be looking for the product of the project to be available at the specified time, agreed time. Now, project teams should be skilled to managing any complex business environments, right? So when I say business environment, it is the organizational culture or the external environment, internal environment. Okay, there will be a lot of market dynamics. Again, I'll discuss about the environments in a couple of slides from now. So, and then last one, proactive project teams, right? They want to look at the teams to be very proactive rather than reactive. Reactive means you are already late. Proactive means upfront you are planning next 2 months, 3 months. what are all the other business opportunities from the same project, right? And then how effectively you manage the risks in the project. So all the items, if you carefully observe, right, they are one way or the other connected for the need for effective project management, right? So what is project management? Now you have the context why we execute the projects, why the projects fail, right? First place, what are the reasons of the failure? But in reality, what is the leadership expectation or expectations, right? So let's go and understand how project management can help fulfill all this. Okay. See, before I go into these individual bullets, right, let me explain what is project management. So project management, a simple theoretical definition says it's the application of skills, knowledge, tools, and techniques on the project activities to meet the project requirements. Now, the very first point is why project management is useful, because it aligns the projects with the business strategy. What do we mean by that? See, project management is the driver of the strategy, but organizations are failing to bridge the gap between the strategy design and its delivery, as we saw earlier. Now, see, there are various leaders, like there is one ex-president and CEO of PMI, which is Project Management Institute. He says, or he claims that effective project management is key to implement an organization's business strategy and has a significant role to improve the bottom line. So, I mean, what you understand is throughout the course of project execution, every stakeholder need to be calibrating their deliverables aligned to the market, development. And so basically, if you are executing a project and then you are halfway in the project, and then all of a sudden after 1 year, assume this is a long duration project, like 2 years project. After 1 year, right, there may be a change in the efficiency requirement due to various reasons, government, rule, regulations, or it can be with regards to your competition is developing a similar product and you want to be having edge over them to gain, to get the additional business opportunity. So the expectation is, the project management ensures over a periodically, you are always aligned what is the development, what is happening in the marketplace, and bring it back to your project and calibrate, where we are with regards to the market expectations and where we are, what are we delivering. So that is very important. Then comes realistic and achievable goals. See, now project managers help the organization own in on their priorities and define the project objectives. When project management is left to the team to handle, it's all over the place. It can easily, the scope, objectives, everything can get easily muddled, right? So it will also create an unclear focus within the team, because they are not led by somebody, like a project manager, and then there is no strong project management practice. So all this can be the reason. A clear focus is very important, and the project manager ensures, he does that. The process of, and then well-managed process, right? So project management actually is a proactive process that actually seeks to help the people to do all the right things. Now, that is where the effectiveness comes. Doing the right things, right, is very critical versus doing the things right. Effective success depends on that. Quality control, yes, project managers, not only manage the deadlines and objectives, but they also keep, an eye on how well the projects are being executed, how well, the project managers help outline clearly, the deliverables and define the quality standards with the team. And then eventually, reduced cost. How project management helps reduce the cost? See, project management, actually, it improves the efficiency, the way deliverables are, executed, the projects are executed, mitigating the risks proactively. So risks, when it is actually, when it turns into reality, it becomes an issue. Okay, risk when it's already happened, it's an issue, right? So we don't want to get to that stage. We want to actually, upfront try to mitigate all the risks before it becomes an issue. Project management helps with that. It helps optimize the resources, number of resources we use on the project. See, even with added cost of investing in a project manager, organization will still stand to gain much more versus a lot of losses and failures that we spoke earlier, right? It's huge. See, some data reveals that organizations with strong PM practices, right, increased their revenue almost threefolds. I was speaking to one of my ex-colleague, and he's actually a VP of one of the organizations today, and then they never had any project management organization which is called as PMO in their company, and then 3 years back they had it. They are looking at a vast advantage other than the organic growth. They are also seeing the effectivity of having this project management organization. It helped them improve the revenue by threefolds. Enormous. See, what it does indirectly is it has reduced the attrition, because the demand or the need for those resources are much higher in those kind of organizations, which is growing, correct? And then a lot more employee engagement in any organizations in a corporate world. Employee engagement is quite used extensively, because they actually, employees are the key. Employees are the pillars of the organization. So they, without them, organizations cannot survive. And investing on the right resources, keep them engaged to create long-term, for even to allow them develop as well as help the organization develop, will be critical. So employee engagement is very, very critical for in any organization in the corporate world. So you understand now, strong project management practices helps improve the project success rate, correct? By a great deal. And now that we know the need for effective project management, who can drive or deliver the the right project management principles, or the practices? One of the key stakeholder for that is a project manager. Okay, I keep using the word stakeholder quite extensively. See, stakeholders means, don't get confused, because usually the word stakeholders is generally we misinterpret and say, okay, stakeholders means leadership of the organization. No, stakeholders means anybody or everybody who are directly or indirectly impacted by the project outcome, the product of the project, are the stakeholders. Okay, so always remember this. Then if I come to role of a project manager, you can see whatever I'm showing, it is not only limited to this, it's much more. Okay, it's much beyond this. Okay, but I have only captured, these are purely what I'm doing today. Okay, me and my team are doing. Okay, beyond this, there are a lot many things we do in terms of what exactly a project manager does. He is the key, he is instrumental for the success of the project. Right from beginning of the project inception till a successful product is developed and delivered to the market, project manager is responsible. Project manager also becomes responsible till certain stage of product maturity in the market. So usually in an organization, what is the role of project manager and what is the role of product manager? Don't get confused. Product manager, actually, it takes care of product life cycle, and a project manager takes care of project life cycle. A project again has a definite start date and end date, right, with a unique output. Correct? So product managers, they look at beyond, like what project managers do. In terms of, once they get the product, they take care of what exactly are the market needs and try to look for new variants in the products, and then they will exactly know when to sunset a product. What I'm talking is of product manager. Project manager, if you see here, is responsible, or he takes care of building a high performance team and ensures a very strong engagement within the organization. So what do I mean by high performance team? Basically, he identifies the gaps and build teams skill set to address the customer needs effectively and make them handle the challenges effectively. Okay, so a role of project manager is to plan, manage, scope, schedule, and costs effectively. So in the project management world, we like these are the triple constraints: scope, schedule, and cost. Why we call it as triple constraint, or we also call it as iron triangle. So when I say iron triangle, okay, if you basically in any given project or even in your personal situation, right? If the scope of the project increases automatically, the schedule and cost will increase. Just to give an example, if you want to do an additional degree at any point of time, right? Definitely you increase the scope, and or you want to take an additional elective, right? Obviously the cost and the timelines also accordingly will change. At the same time, even in personal life, if you are going for a picnic, you would have definitely planned, what is the scope? Okay, these are the cities we will visit. These are the, places in those cities we will visit. And if you add additional, okay, I want to go to the beach as well. Obviously, your timeline will increase, your cost also will increase accordingly. So that is why it is called as triple constraint. Always remember the scope, cost, and schedule. They are all very much interconnected. Quality is integral to all three. Now, now integration of all the functional deliverables. See, in any given organizations, there are many functions. Maybe, you might have gone through that, or might have not deeply gone through that. So there are functions like engineering who actually, design and develop the product. We have sourcing or the procurement. Sourcing, the role of sourcing is to actually identify the right suppliers who can manufacture the designed product, which is designed by the engineering. We have materials procurement team. So who buy the materials, right? Whatever has been designed and sourced from a particular vendor. Then we have AME or the manufacturing team, and then operations team who will mass produce the product that has been designed. We have quality. Quality actually looks at the quality of the raw materials that are coming into the factory. They take care of the quality of the product that is getting built as well. And then till the dispatch, they are responsible. And also when it gets dispatched, they will take the field feedback. These are the function, these are various functions. Again, there is something called a service, right? When it goes to the field, the installation, erection, commissioning, and proper annual maintenance, everything will be taken care by a department called as sales. So prior to engineering, there is another department called as product manager. Product management team are the face to the customers. They are customer facing. They actually understand the market needs, collect all the requirements, and then hand it over to the project team. Project manager is instrumental. He is the key person, who sits along with the cross-functional team, looks at all the requirements, and then they evaluate. Okay, these are the market requirements. How are we going to deliver? Engineering team, what all you guys do? What are the timelines? Okay, how much time you need? How many resources you need? Similarly, you'll come to sourcing. So each of these deliverables, while engineering is doing the design development, sourcing also will be looking at various vendors who can, help us with those products, raw materials, and respectively other functions. There will be some capital equipment, huge cranes or material handling equipment required to mass produce these products. So those functions, everybody actually, cannot be by themselves. Integration of all these functions. Like tomorrow, assume engineering has changed the design basis in discussion with the product management. All the other functions need to know what exactly has changed, so that accordingly they can also come up with a different strategy. Integrating all these functions for various deliverables is the role of project manager throughout the project. Okay, and project manager, see, 60 to 70% of the project manager's time goes with communication. That is the role of project manager. When I say communication, it's not gossiping about each other or gossiping about leadership. Communication means taking the project status at any stage. Where are we in terms of risks, in terms of meeting the project requirements, in terms of overall deliverables? How are we placed? Communicating that to the core team, communicating the status of the project to the leadership team, communicating the risks to the leadership team. Everything almost on a daily basis, he spends 60 to 70% of his time on that. Okay, it's very, very important because everybody need to be completely aligned. He sets the vision. Okay, project manager need to establish project vision, alignment with respect to the organization goal, and with respect to the core team's expectations. It need to be aligned. So that is what eventually project manager does. Then he manages, project issues and changes. When I say project issues and changes, PMs, project managers should always try to mitigate the risks proactively in discussions with the project team. Its role is not to deal with the issues. Okay, it's very, very important. Next is leadership qualities. See, now usually leadership means facilitate, collaborate among the project team members to enable the teams to deliver, at a higher efficiency, performance efficiency. So there are few things project manager does or need to do. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is quite, nowadays we speak about that quite a lot. It is nothing but ability to understand, use and manage your own emotions, that is project manager's emotions, in positive ways to relieve the stress of your project team members, right? Communicating that effectively. Empathizing. What do we understand by empathizing? Empathizing means putting yourself in others' shoes. Okay, now this guy, he has been working for hours, right? He needs some rest. This guy is having a lot of personal issues. Probably he can take a couple of days off. This guy is highly effective. I think I should utilize him in a different deliverable. So understanding, putting yourself in others' shoes, like what are their emotions, what are their thoughts, and then and then acting accordingly is empathy. Servant leadership. So servant leadership is another leadership attribute. So what do we mean by servant leadership? Servant leadership means basically, it is leading through service, providing the service, like understanding and addressing the needs and developments of the team members is critical. And usually, like great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi ji or Mother Teresa, okay, even Nelson Mandela, they were all great, enablers. They were great servant leaders. Okay, so leadership is all about guiding. So there is again a subtle difference between when I say leading and managing a team. We expect the project managers to lead and not necessarily manage. The difference, I'll tell you why. The reason is guiding team, basically by using the discussion and exchange of ideas is leadership. Management means it refers to the directions, directing actions, predefined actions, prescribed set of actions. This is what you need to do. You go ahead and do that way only. That is management. See, now that may work or may not work all the times. The best thing is adapting to the situation, collaborate with the team, enable the team to deliver the best in that particular situation. That is leadership. I believe you got the difference between leadership and management. Okay, so there are a few other aspects, address and remove impediments or obstacles in the project. Impediments means roadblocks. Okay, that is very, very, very important. Compliance. See, when we say compliance, it can be related to the political situation, business and industry context of your project, project's product or service, right? Process adherence, templates, checklists in line with the organizational process assets or the enterprise environmental factor. Even they, actually come into this category. So all the team members need to abide by certain timelines. Like for example, they need to work in 8 to 5 timelines, means they have to abide by that. Or if there is some flexi hours, the core team hours they need to work, means definitely they will come at least the core team hours maybe 10 to 4 they need to be in the factory or in the office, so they will abide by that. Those are compliance. Organizational changes. See, now evaluate and address internal and external business environment before I go to organization change. Business, what is the business environment? See, projects are operating in a highly dynamic environment, right? While generating the change for that environmental, all of a sudden we have sustainability goals. There will be a lot of requirement due to the pandemic situations. All of a sudden the business environment change. So you may actually won't get the necessary vendor support because all the raw material is getting diverted to hospitals, right? So normal industries may suffer. So you need to adapt to that environmental changes. Organization change also matters. See, organization changes, projects can influence the strategic direction of organizations. And at the same time, organizational transformation, right, can also change the way we look at things. Okay. For example, Ingersoll Rand, we merged with Gardner Denver in early 2020. So that's a big change in the organization. Leadership changed, the process, policies, environment, everything changed. But the project teams need to continue and need to deliver, right? In fact, we delivered a lot more products last year after that merger happened for whatever reasons. So critical is adapting to the situation, adapting to those changes, and delivering. Okay? So project manager actually leads from the front and ensures all these things are taken care of. If there are challenges in certain section of people, or the first thing is to collaborate, resolve the issues, challenges by himself. If not, he can take support of leadership to fix the issues and challenges. So that is the reason he has to communicate both ways, both downstream to the core team and also to the next level to the leadership team. Okay, that's how things work. So I hope you got a glimpse of what project manager does and what me and my team are doing actually in this organization. And it is similar to, it is definitely the same across, right? Any organizations if you take. So basically, just to summarize, a good project manager actually considers the big picture and sets realistic and achievable goals. It challenges the team as well in terms of budgets, timelines, and without careful management of all these, without a project manager, a project, as I was mentioning earlier, can quickly get off track before even it has begun. It has begun. So you have to be very careful. So project managers can help the organization hone in their priorities and and define the specific project objectives with the team, and then eventually deliver it. Okay. So as you see, project manager is taking multiple hats, right? He's a cheerleader, he's a gatekeeper, right? He's a paper pusher and integrates all the activities to deliver a desired outcome. Right? So definitely project management role it's not an easy role, but will be extremely challenging and exciting. Of course, you might be wondering, each of you might be thinking, okay, if there is a career option like project manager, which we have never thought of when we came to, when we thought of doing an MBA or an engineering degree or any other degree for that matter. Okay, so this opportunity is every single organization needs project manager. Every single organization will have a formal or an informal project management organization. And because the reason they need project manager is they need to execute projects for their survival. Okay, it is something, it's a wonderful opportunity if somebody is excited to lead without actually having complete control on the teams, because you will always be working in the area of influence, not area of control, right? If you have the passion and interest, this is definitely a very attractive or very challenging kind of a role in any organizations, and definitely a lot of visibility in any given organization. One is visibility from top till the to the bottommost level. Everybody knows you by name, everybody knows you by character, everybody knows you by your personality as a project manager. Okay, so how you might be wondering, how can I get into a project manager role? So I have a couple of suggestions here. This will be my last slide. Okay, see, project management is rapidly growing profession. So PMI is the premier project management institution in the world, and it's a non-profit association of advancement of the project management. So there are two options. Now, somebody who has some experience, they will go with PMP, and then some people who have never done any project management, okay, which I don't agree, because throughout your life you are great project managers right from your childhood. You know how to manage your mom, how to manage your dad, or situations, stakeholders management, how do you plan things. There will be a lot of events happening at home. Personally, almost on daily basis, all of us exhibit all these attributes what I mentioned. Okay, all are natural project managers. So here what I just explained, how you can convert your personal experiences into a professional way, so that you can be, organizations can utilize you better, right, into a effective project managers. We have something called as CAPM. PMI offers this certified associate in project management, and this will be useful for entry level certification. Okay, people who don't have any experience but who are aspiring to become project managers. Okay, even if associate's degree or an high school or a diploma should be good enough for that as a prerequisite. And there is a classroom session or a virtual classroom session one has to take for 23 hours of project management education. And if you think, you have had some experience, right? Maybe, like 36 months of leading some projects. And if you have 4-year degree, right? So you can go for PMP certification. So it is taking your project management skills to next level. Right? So it is ideal for practicing project management professionals or people who are aspiring to get into higher levels, in terms of project management. So here there are two options. One is 4-year degree, or if you are having an high school diploma or an associate's degree, even the 60 months of project experience is what is expected in this case. And in both cases, you need to have a 35 hours of project management education or training from an ATP. Okay. So this is what actually I had planned to cover, and definitely it is one of the exciting roles. Be it because see it is not, again, project management is not domain specific. Anybody from any educational background, finance, HR, they all can become project managers. And of course, over a period of time, they will need to be acquiring some technical skills on the product front, which is critical. But anybody and everybody can become project managers. And even if you don't want to become project managers, I mean, applying these principles and techniques, right, definitely will take a long way, because the amount of professionalism people show once they become project managers or once they practice project managers is enormous. You can make out with the way they conduct, with the way they speak, with the way they actually display themselves, right? All shows up. So with that, I try to wrap up my session here. Hopefully it was useful. And with that, I'm open for any questions. Isha, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insight. I am sure that the participants must have gained more understanding of the topic. Sir, there are certain questions from the batches side that we have collected prior to the session. I would like to start with them and then open the floor for questions.
Sure.
Jheel has asked, what are the job opportunities if one goes for general management instead of a specialization?
Okay. So this is more generic. That's fine. See, now I think the key is both have its own areas. Like somebody who is having specialization and is very keen to get into certain, like cryogenics or high pressure liquids or something like that. I think there is opportunity. There is a specific segment open for them. At the same time, if somebody is having general management, probably the opportunities are broad. And you may then later recognize what are your core strengths, core areas. After even getting into the organization, probably, you might be into engineering, but probably you are a much stronger sales guy, because the way, so you have to, at that moment, probably you have to understand what are your strengths, maybe, before you get into the organization or once you get into the organizations, and then, experience everything, whatever you are doing currently. Okay, now the way, I'm doing my engineering stuff, probably I'm much more, I can accomplish much more and contribute more to the organizations, probably by being, into those other, like into operations, manufacturing, or maybe sourcing. So that is definitely an opportunity in any given organizations. Don't think that, once you get into the organization with general management skills, you don't have opportunities. Definitely there will be a lot of opportunities to grow yourself, and usually organizations also recognize that and try to accommodate, and nobody will penalize anybody. But if you are going to specialized areas, you are very clear with your thought process. Okay, these are the areas I want to focus. I want to do an HR MBA in HR means, okay, you are very clear, that is where I want to get into. Absolutely, either ways, it is absolutely fine. There are plenty of opportunities for both.
The next question is from Devam Shah. He is asking, how does Ingersoll manage its bottleneck operation?
Okay, I mean, very good question. So it is slightly generic, but let me try to get into some specifics. Now, bottleneck operations means usually what happens is a lot of deliveries pile up to the end of the month for whatever reasons. Like if we have to deliver around 10 compressors or 15 compressors, most of the times, because of various reasons, we will not be in a linear manner. We will not be delivering in a linear manner. So what happens is most of them get piled up in the last 2 weeks or probably last weeks, and we try to do everything in the last week. Okay, so the way we have planned going forward is actually, this was the case some time back. A little bit it is still there. We need to further improve. But some of the things we have tried to improve is use some techniques, strengthen our project management skills within the operations, within the manufacturing, how well we can plan, execute, manage the risks, monitor and control, and deliver the products in a linear way throughout the phase of the month, rather than keeping everything to the month end. So it can be risks associated with sourcing, or the supplier issues or raw materials don't come on time. So in some cases, we might push out to the next month to make things linear. But we may lose some revenue for the month, but it is still fine. When things go beyond control, we might end up doing that. So I can speak about this for hours together because it's a very generic question. Okay, so maybe I'll cut short for now, to that level.
The next question is from Sahil Mathur. Some people think of project management as CEO training, working with or for investors, project teams, and clients, as well as dealing with many of the same demands and financial constraints are common problems and necessities in both roles. So, what is the major difference that segregates both of them, that is, project manager and the CEO?
Okay. See, as I was mentioning earlier also, like if I understand the question correctly, you want to differentiate the role of a CEO versus a role of a project manager. If that is the question, then see, the project managers are the people actually who are at the ground level executing the project, from understanding the customer expectations, understanding the investor requirements. I mean, shareholder value, right? We have to create the shareholder value. We exactly know what is the business strategy of the organization, and these particular product of this project, how it is going to contribute towards the business target. Okay, so from that perspective, project managers are there with the team, with the cross-functional teams, with the leaders, with the customers, until it goes to the shop floor, manufactured and tested and dispatched again to the customer. Almost cut across everybody. So CEO or organizational managing director or a leader, actually their focus is upon not at this execution level. Their focus is more strategic. The focus will be more around how to grow organization, how to get to next levels, what are the new areas to venture, what are the opportunities for merger and acquisitions, where we can buy another company and actually merge it with us to actually take care of shareholder value or increase the organizational organic growth and inorganic growth, both, right? The focuses are different. Okay, now against a defined strategy, a defined business goal or a business target is what the project team and the project manager will be executing. But the CEOs or the MDs will be focusing much beyond that. Their focus is much beyond the project. Okay, it is at a portfolio or a strategy level. Hope that answers that question.
Sir, Ishesh would like to know, how has the marketing efforts changed for an organization fulfilling B2B needs in these times of COVID-19?
Okay, see, it's a very good question. See, now in case of B2B, your customers are another business entity, like another industry. For example, we predominantly cater into a B2B. I mean, our products are B2B segment. So here actually the marketing is different. It doesn't work like a marketing we do for the Farm Easy or the credit card. It doesn't work that way. seldom you see, commercial advertisements or the, in the TVs or in any social media. So our kind of organizations, we actually, the marketing is much different. Basically, we have somebody called as distributors, dealers, with whom we, actually interact quite a lot, and we do the marketing at that level. Probably, general consumers will not even understand, like what exactly is happening. Where are these guys, are marketing, and how are they selling the products? They can see only those, huge chillers installed on top of the building, but they will not even know. I have never seen any ad about this chiller, but it is cooling the entire office, right? So those are the things, like, the marketing of that is different. Purely it's word of mouth, and we create some brochures whenever we launch a new product. Actually, the marketing happens will involve all the key customers, okay, B2B customers. We involve the distributors and dealers, and then provide them a complete overview of what product we are coming up with, and when are we launching, what are the benefits of the product, and what are the value propositions that we can deliver, and how much it will cost at the end of the day, and how much we can offer to the dealers versus, what is the OEM price. So those are the, communications we have directly with them. We never, usually the B2B market never advertises, outside in a media typically. Okay. So I think that is what probably is the question, and that's what I think is the answer.
Now I open the floor for questions. I request the participants to type their questions in the chat box or unmute themselves and ask the questions to them. So I see 2 questions in the chat box already. The first is how to form an ideal contingency plan by help of project management.
Yep, a very good question, which I and my team, we do daily basis almost regularly. See, for any given project, before we baseline means it's approved schedule or a cost. Before we finalize, okay, this is the timeline required for this project, we'll understand what are all the deliverables from various functions. Engineering has to design, develop, they utilize certain technologies and develop. Sourcing has to arrange the materials or arrange the, basically, sourcing need to ensure that we have all the right suppliers identified. Materials person will arrange the material. During this process, in an ideal world, everything may fall in place if there are no risks, zero risks. But seldom, any projects will have zero risks. Every single project, every damn project will have one or the other risks or multiple risks. So how do we, actually ensure that we are not getting into the issue zone and resolving those risks or addressing those risks upfront? That is where we use the contingency plan, mitigation plan rather. So mitigation means, okay, if we'll anticipate upfront, okay, on this engineering, you are asking for 3 months, okay, what all things can go wrong? Sit with them, understand, capture that register, put it in the risk register file, and then say, okay, if this risk happens, what is the mitigation plan? Okay, if technology A fails, we should parallelly be working on technology B with additional resources. Mitigation plan is invoke technology B if you see upfront that technology A has failed. Okay, like that, every single functions like manufacturing. Okay, if the plan was to manufacture this entire product in-house, and tomorrow we see there are challenges associated with welding internally, or we are having challenges with maintaining the cleanliness, right? So immediately we should think of, okay, if I outsource, or the plan B is outsourcing certain commodities, okay, so that it can be manufactured outside. Plan those things, don't react, don't act when the issue has happened, plan upfront. So it's all about being proactive, identify those risks, identify the mitigation actions, capture that in your project schedule, and give the project schedule to the leaders. These are plan A and plan B. If A fails, B will be invoked, and overall timelines will not change. But we need additional resources and money so that parallelly those mitigations actions somebody will be looking at. Okay, so we have to look at holistically from beginning till the end of the project, what all things can go wrong across any functions. I'm just giving sourcing or engineering example, but any function, there will be a lot of challenges. So you need to sit with the team, work as a team cross-functionally, understand what are the risks, challenges, identify them, and then capture that in your project schedule before it gets baselined with the leadership. The same thing is applicable on the cost front also. Make sense?
Next question is, how does a project manager avoid gold plating? Will gold plating be considered as a bad project management practice?
Very, very good question. And absolutely, it is a bad project management. See, the customer has requested, us for a compressor which can deliver certain capacity of kilowatt. Sorry, I'm using our industry experience. Compressor of certain kilowatt capacity and certain noise levels and certain vibration levels. You can actually, over design, okay? But if while over designing, you have to be cognizant. If I deliver exactly as per customer requirement, what will be my cost and timeline? If I little bit, gold plate means in real terms, it is like adding additional features which not necessarily customer will value, or he may value, but he will not pay. He will not be willing to pay for that. So no point in delivering additionally, because you have to understand in the marketplace, every penny matters. Okay. Now, if your product becomes expensive and if you offer that with additional gold plating, which the customer never wanted, right? So for vegetarians, just I'll give an example, a dual door refrigerator. Okay. How much of it is useful? Okay. He's a pure vegetarian. They don't keep anything, meat or anything in that freezer. So most of the times he will be converting that and using it as a refrigerator, and his freezer will be seldom used. Why do you invest on that kind of a fridge, right? So that is one example. So for that customer, probably it was a gold plating. And similarly, gold plating should be avoided at all levels, because you should understand what customer wants and deliver exactly what they want. If you want to create differentiation in the marketplace, see what is your competitor doing, how much is pricing. If you can match and meet that or beat that, well and good. But definitely you cannot pass all those additional costs to the customer, and you will lose the market share.
So our last question for today's session would be, how has COVID-19 affected the person working as a project manager, as all the projects were kept at a halt for a long portion of time, and did it also affect the budget?
Absolutely. So, I would say most of the governmental projects or any other projects probably would have got halted because of various reasons. But in case of private sectors, I would say rather almost 80 to 90% of the project were never stopped, or it was never put on hold or paused. Everything was still running. See, for example, there are 5 various industry categories. 5 of them are information technology. Definitely, whether you work from home or work from office, it doesn't matter, right? You don't have anything physical. You have to create codes, and you have to develop IT products, and you have to, test it and deliver it, right? Definitely none of the projects need to be on hold. Engineering and manufacturing, definitely, in case of engineering and manufacturing, there was some pause, especially when the products had to be built and tested in the plant. Very few. But most of the other project activities wherein we can manage things virtually, which is the new norm, virtual project management, things never stopped. In fact, we were lot more productive. All my project team members were available, like full time. They didn't had anywhere to go, right, during COVID situation. And we used to have, multiple meetings and then discuss and close a lot of open issues wherein, in real time, probably we would have struggled to catch hold of a lot of cross-functional team members. We were able to get them. We converted, that as an opportunity, that situation as an opportunity. In case of construction and construction industries, definitely, it has impacted a great deal, because, we were not allowed to go out. Lockdown was imposed. And that is where, that segment probably would have got significantly impacted. The hospitality industries, right? These are all operations. And then the transport industries, everything got impacted during the COVID situation, right? So especially from the project management perspective, wherever we can deliver, almost 80 to 90% of the projects, even in our organizations, were never paused. In fact, we were delivering much more effectively because we had all the people we needed and all the time we had. Okay, so we need to know how to convert the risks into opportunities, correct, and then still deliver so that organization also thinks you are a valued member, because that is very critical. And at the same time, organization values the effort you are delivering, and eventually we are contributing towards the organizational goal. We delivered a lot more projects last year in the COVID situation, honestly, almost twice the number of projects the prior year.
With this, we come to an end for today's session. Thank you so much, sir, again, for your valuable time and for the valuable insights that you have provided to the students.
So absolutely. So it was, I mean, I really like to thank Uni and then you, Isha, and also, the entire Nirma management, for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences and knowledge. And please treat this as a beginning, in the sense, even, students, whenever they want to connect with me or approach me, understand more about project management, program management, what I spoke is that actually at the 50,000 feet level, there is a lot more to it. Honestly speaking, but as you get into your professional careers, I think you will all realize the value and also reap the benefits of project management as a career. Okay, so please stay in touch if you need anything, any information, any knowledge transfer or anything in future as well. I'm open for that. Okay, for any kind of questions. Thank you.